Could AB actually be done playing football? The former All-Pro receiver posted these series of tweets Monday. Is it time to walk away? I've done everything in the game. At this point, the risk is greater than the reward. Thank you, everyone who's been a part of this journey. I sincerely thank you for everything. Life goes on. 84. I came. I saw. I conquered. Mission complete. Call God. All right, Max, you're up first on this one. Are you buying that AB is actually walking away from football here?
No, I'm buying that the game retired him. Look, I'd like to announce my retirement from the NFL, too. I'm walking away. I mean, if I can't get a job, then now you could say, well, no, there were reported up to 20 teams interested in him. Well, that's because if you have, there's a mansion somewhere for sale, but it's infested with bugs, and because of its location, whatever, its proximity to it, you can never really get rid of them. They're just going to come back. Then you're not going to pay full price. If the price drops low enough, eventually you'll find buyers, right? But then maybe the person don't want to sell anymore. Well, not for that price. And that's what's happening. Antonio Brown, maybe he has interest, but he's like, the risk is not worth the reward. They're not offering me enough money. But that's because something wrong with AB. And I understand, and I didn't defend him, but I pointed out he's blurring the lines between like mental health issues and just acting like a jerk. Because you can be both. You can be a jerk who has mental health issues. But there is sort of a blurred line. I've interacted with AB. He came on Sports Nation as a guest years ago. I found him very pleasant and, perfectly fine. He seemed like a nice guy. But his interactions with teammates and administrators on other teams, coaches, etc., on social media, what he's posted, how he's treated people, and from everything I can gather about him, he's got issues. And those issues are what's driving the price down. In fact, that he's one of the best, despite of the fact he's one of the best receivers who ever lived. And he should still be in or around his prime. So no, I'm not buying that he's walking away from the game, Molly. I'm buying that his issues has caused his price to drop so drastically that he don't think it's worth it anymore. And guys, in terms of what else he's going to do, he was going to walk away from the game. He had time. He didn't write a book or compose a symphony or organize some kind of business or charity function that's done great work, right? Like, we haven't heard about any of those things. He's had some time to do those things. In fact, he did enroll in a university and immediately tried to get someone to write his paper for him and tweeted it out, right? This dude's got issues. That's why he's not finding a job at the right price in the NFL right now. I don't buy that he's retired from the game. I buy that his issues have retired him.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, Max. I mean, this is, in my opinion, it's a sad deal. I mean, I think when you look at Antonio Brown, the type of player that he was, I mean, this guy, he was special. I mean, when you watched him play and you watch him play, the things that he can do, even the last game with the Patriots, I mean, the guy absolutely lights it up. And it's the self-destructive behavior that has been exhibited is just sad to watch. And it plays out, like you said, on social media, the different things that have been said. And to your point, the game is forcing him to not want to play. I think from the team's perspective, it's no different than what he's saying. Is the risk worth the reward to bring him on your team, right? Do you have the type of locker room that can withstand him getting in? And if he does have outbursts or he does have things that happen, is it sustainable in your locker room? What type of locker room would you have to bring this type of talent on? And so I don't think it's any different for the teams in the NFL than for AB. When he talks about it's not worth it, from the team's perspective, it's the same way. And when you find that balance, I do believe if he had an offer that was legitimate, I don't know what the number is, I do think he would come back and play. I don't think he's a guy who would say, oh, no, if it doesn't matter what the money would be, I'm done. The game, it's good. I do think he would come back and play if the opportunity presented itself with a decent amount of money. The troublesome part, to your point, is the mental health aspect. And you're praying he is getting help. He is with people that can help him and continue to grow in that because and get professional help just so his career doesn't have to suffer and he could go back to doing what he is obviously so good at doing.
Well, when you talk about Antonio Brown, you just don't know. I mean, every time you think he's taking 2 steps forward, he take 10 steps backwards. We're talking about a guy who has a history of reneging and going back on his word and doing crazy stuff. And it's a shame that we are on First Take right now even having to address his off-the-court tactics. I mean, just look, 2 weeks ago, I was watching on social media because I follow the great Deion Sanders, by the way, who's a great spiritual leader now, a great mentor, and Antonio Brown was down there with him, and I thought he was getting himself together. I was watching clips of him. He looked really good in workouts, but it's really, really sad because I honestly believe that Antonio Brown could have went down as the best receiver of all time, and it's crazy that we're not talking about that. We're not talking about how good Antonio Brown is or how great he was on the field on this Sunday. We're talking about everything that he's doing outside of the field, and it's just a sad moment because, in my opinion, at what he's been doing outside of the football field, it could affect his Hall of Fame chances. Yes, he will. I believe he will get in the Hall of Fame, but will he be first ballot? And those things could play a major role. But it's just a sad thing to see because we're talking about a guy that was super talented, far as one of the fastest receivers we've seen, some of the best hands that we've seen. And here it is today that we have to talk about what he did outside of football, and that's not right. I mean, we just have to address it, but I seriously pray for the brother. I hope that he gets help. I hope that he gets back to the right mental stage where he's back to normal and just be able to live his life fully because he do have kids to live for. So my prayers goes out to him and his family. But the thing about Antonio Brown is just you just don't know.